Welcome to the audiobook of New Social Studies, Grade 10. Unit 8, Lesson number 2, page number 312. Tourism industry, its importance and prospects. Tourist and tourism industry. The people who travel from one place to another within the country or visit from one country to another for business, pleasure, adventure, spending holidays, pilgrimage, observing culture, etc. are called tourists. Similarly, any business activity concerned with providing accommodation, entertainment, supplies, or services is called tourism industry. Tourism industry includes the business of hotel, restaurant, travel agency, trekking agency, etc. Types of tourist. A. Domestic or internal tourist. The people who travel from one place to another within their own country for various purposes are called domestic tourists. For example, if the students of Nawalparasi are in Pokhara for the educational tour, they are called domestic tourists. Internal tourism is increasing day by day in Nepal. The new generation likes to travel in different places. Going for trekking, rafting, bungee jumping, etc. are also the interest of Nepalese youths. B. International or foreign tourist. Those people who travel from one country to another for a certain period of time are called international tourists. International tourists need visa to go from one country to another. Nowadays, number of international tourists has increased due to increase in facilities. Reasons for touring: for enjoying during the holidays, for seeing and learning the lifestyle of other people, for official and government work, for trekking, mountaineering and business, for escaping from the severe climate, for visiting famous places, and for pilgrimage. Importance of tourism in Nepal. Tourism is one of the biggest and fastest growing industries in the world. Nepal's tourism industry is an important base for the development of the country. Tourism industry contributes about 10% of the GDP. The importance of tourism industry have been discussed below. Number A, source of foreign currencies. Foreign currencies are very important for the development of the country. Tourism is the main source of foreign currency in Nepal. Nepal is suffering from trade deficit for a long time. In this situation, Nepal can earn huge amount of foreign currency from tourism industry. Number B, development of cottage and small industries. When foreign tourists visit Nepal, they like to buy local products because they are made in typical Nepali style using local raw materials. It helps to utilize our natural resources and local people can earn extra income. It also develops our cottage and small industries. C. Publicity of Nepal to the world. Through tourism, Nepal has been famous in the world for natural beauty. When more tourists visit our country, international relations will also be extended with other countries. There will be more demand of Nepalese product in the world market. D. Development of physical infrastructures. Tourism helps to develop physical infrastructure. When tourists visit our country, we need more flights, tourist bus, hotels, restaurants, trekking and tour guides, etc. All these aspects will be developed in the country. E. Conservation of art and culture. Tourists like to see our art, culture, traditions, historical sites, monuments, etc., which ultimately helps to preserve our art and culture. F. Increase in trade. When tourists are interested towards different Nepalese product, they demand such goods in their own country too, which helps to develop international trade. They visit different parts of the world, parts of the country, involved in different activities by several things, which increase economic activities of our country. Prospect of tourism development in Nepal. Although Nepal is a small country, it is rich in natural beauty. Mount Everest, the highest mountain peak in the world, moderate climate, geographical diversity, etc. are the main attractions of Nepal. Cultural and ethnic diversity, art, and tradition have added more attraction to develop Nepal as a tourist destination. Many tourists from the different parts of the world visit Nepal to observe these things. There are many possibilities of tourism development in Nepal. They are presented below. A. Great Himalayan Trail. The region from Mount Kanchenjunga in the east to Mount Saipal in the west is known as the Great Himalayan Trail. It includes Kanchenjunga Conservation Area, Makalu Varun National Park, Sagarmatha National Park of eastern Nepal. Similarly, mountainous areas like Langtang, Gosaikunda, Gauri Shankar, located in the middle region of the country, lie in this trail. The tourist destinations of Manang, Mustang, Mugu, Dolpa also come under the Great Himalayan Trail. Nepal Tourism Board has recommended this area as a touristic destination. By the adequate publicity and development of touristic infrastructures in this region, number of tourists can be increased as expected. Number B. High mountain peaks. Every year, many tourists from different countries of the world come to view Mount Everest, the highest mountain peak in the world. They can view it by mountain flight. Many individuals and groups also come to climb this mountain. There are 14 mountain peaks in the world having the height above 8,000 meters above sea level. Among them, 8 mountain peaks are in Nepal. Number C. Adventure tourism. Nepal is a very suitable place for adventure tourism. There are many fast-flowing rivers which are suitable for rafting. Bungee jumping is another attraction for tourists in Nepal. Besides these, trekking, mountaineering, kayaking, cycling, rock climbing, canoeing, paragliding, etc. are major areas of adventure tourism in Nepal. D. Religious and historical sites. Nepal is famous as the religious center for both the Hindus and Buddhists of the world. Lumbini, Pashupatinath, Manakamana, Muktinath, Janaki Temple, Swargadwari, Riddhi, Ugratara, Krishna Mandir, Changunarayan, etc. are the famous religious sites. Likewise, there are several ancient monuments and sites in Nepal which attracts the tourists. Ashoka Pillar of Lumbini, Changunarayan Temple, Bhaktapur Darbar Square, Basantapur Darbar Square, Krishna Mandir, Patan Darbar Square, etc. reflect the ancient art and architecture of Nepal. E. Natural vegetation and wildlife. Though it is small in size, varieties of climate, vegetation, and topography are found here. Many parts of the country have been developed as national parks, conservation area, and wildlife reserves. A huge number of tourists are attracted to observe varieties of animals and birds. F. Cultural diversity. The structure of Nepalese society is multi-ethnic, multilingual, and multicultural. Every ethnic group has its own distinct culture, festival, and way of living. There are 125 castes of people living in Nepal with their varieties of culture and tradition. Every year, many tourists visit to observe this cultural diversity. G. Geographical and climatic diversity. Nepal has diversified topography. Many beautiful Himalayas, deep gorge, valley, plain, hills, fast-flowing rivers, etc. have made Nepal rich in natural beauty. The climate also differs when one travels from south to north. It is neither too hot nor too cold. Different international tourism journals have listed Nepal as one of the important tourist destinations of the world which has to be visited at least once in a lifetime. National Geographic Traveler listed Nepal in 6th place as tourist destination that should not be missed in 2016 AD. Thus, there is a great possibility of tourism in Nepal, but it has not been able to flourish due to many problems. Problems in the tourism industry. A. lack of transportation and communication facility. Most of the international tourists use air services to come to Nepal, but Nepal is linked with very few countries of the world through air services. That is why there are not many international flights. Tourists want quick and efficient means of communication to be in touch with their family, friends, and relatives. But most of the beautiful remote places lack the facilities of good transportation and communication system. B. Lack of conservation of cultural and religious places. Nepal is very rich in culture and religion. There are many religious and cultural heritages sites in Nepal, but they lack maintenance, conservation, and promotion. C. Lack of means of entertainment. Another important facility that tourists want is entertainment. Such facilities are not enough due to lack of physical infrastructures. The tourists who come with family need varieties of means of entertainment suitable for all the members. In the absence of these means, tourists do not wish to stay for a long time. D. Lack of organized tourist centers. There is lack of well-managed tourist centers which can provide necessary information and help needed by tourists. Therefore, many tourists hesitate and do not want to go to such places. E. Lack of tourist goods. Tourists need various goods in their travel, but sufficient tourist goods are not produced in Nepal. Such goods need to be imported from other countries and are expensive too. Thus, due to this reason, tourists find it difficult to visit Nepal. F. Lack of good publicity. Many tourist destinations lack publicity. If we could make them known to the world, a number of tourists may visit our country due to the attraction of such tourist destination. G. Lack of proper accommodation. Tourists expect good and comfortable accommodation. There should be a good provision of accommodation when the tourists go for trekking and hiking in remote areas. There is no guarantee of security for them, so they are often cheated and their lives are in threat and danger. For all these reasons, tourists are discouraged to visit Nepal. H. Lack of proper sanitation. Most of the places of tourist attraction in Nepal are dirty and polluted due to garbage thrown everywhere. They cannot walk freely and enjoy the beauty due to bad odor and dirty surroundings. This may cause the number of tourists to decrease. Nepal is one of the most beautiful and suitable places for tourism, but there are many problems related to tourism sector. In this situation, we should try our best in order to develop tourism industry. Solutions. Number A. The number and capacity of domestic and international air services should be increased. B. There should be a good provision of transportation and communication in tourism areas. C. Tourists should be provided with the things they need like market, banks, and security. D. Provisions must be made to produce the things necessary for tourism industry in our own country. E. There should be provision of simple and easy access to fulfill the requirement of tourists. F. Nepal should be introduced to the world through advertisement of its art, culture, and natural beauty. G. Cultural and religious places must be maintained and conserved for the development of religious tourism. H. Domestic and international investors should be encouraged for the development of tourism industry. Tourism in the present plan. In order to develop tourism sector in Nepal, the 14th plan 2073-74 to 2075-76 has made a long-term vision to develop Nepal as the best tourist destination in the world. This plan has aimed at increasing number of tourists and increase in national economy. Its goal is to promote tourism with the collaboration of private sector, develop additional touristic destination, and create employment opportunity through village tourism. It has also set up the strategy to make publicity focusing to the neighboring and other countries for the development of tourism. This plan has prioritized for sustainable tourism development through encouragement to internal tourists. Activity, page number 317. 1. What activities are carried out by Nepal Tourism Board for the tourism development? Make an inquiry and present in the class. 2. Observe tourist spots located in your locality and present their features in the class. 3. Show the following statistic in separate pie chart. Number of tourists on the basis of objective and number of tourists on the basis of country. So under number of tourists on the basis of objective, there are number 1, entertainment 50.10%, number 2, trekking and mountaineering 12.3%, 3, trade 3.1%, 4, official purpose 4.1%, 5, religious 12.6%, 6, seminar 1.7%, 7, others 16.2%. And under number of tourists on the basis of country, there are number 1, India 14%, China 12%, Sri Lanka 8%, America 8%, Britain 6%, France 3%, Japan 3%, Germany 2%, Australia 3%, others 41%. This data is based on Economic Survey of 2072. Exercise. Very short answer questions. Number 1. Who are tourists? Number 2. What do you mean by tourism industry? Number 3. Differentiate between the domestic and international tourists in a sentence. Short answer questions. Number 1. Mention the importance of tourism in Nepal. Number 2. Prepare a model of news for a daily newspaper about the Great Himalayan Trail and entertainment to be obtained from it. Number 3. What are the possible adventurous activities for tourists in Nepal? Discuss in the class. Number 4. There is a great prospect of religious tourism in Nepal. Justify this statement. Number 5. Mention the activities carried out for the development of tourism sector in Nepal. Number 6. What should be done to increase the number of tourists in Nepal? Present the measures in points. Number 7. What are the strategies included in the current economic plan for tourism development? Mention. Long answer questions. Number 1. Write the roles to be played by the tourism industry, government, and local level for the tourism development. Write in points. Number 2. The income generated from the tourism industry should be used for the development at local level. Present your logics in support of this statement. Number 3. Explain the prospects of tourism development in Nepal. Number 4. Describe any 4 problems seen in the tourism industry and suggest any 3 measures for the solution. Community work. There might be some hotels, transportations, homestay, etc. running in your locality. How are the local communities benefited from these activities? Make an inquiry and prepare a report. This is the end of Unit 8, Lesson 2, page number 317. This podcast is dedicated to visually impaired students. So if you know anybody who needs this book to listen and learn, please share the link and also please subscribe the channel. Thank you and all the best.